Browns getting ready to face the Bengals, and it appears there will be a third starting quarterback this season for the Browns under center when they take on the Bengals. Dorian Thompson-Robinson to get the start against the Bengals. Here's a look at some of the numbers that he has put up. And again, you know, the Week 7 against Bengals in relief. So 11 of 24, 82 yards, couple of picks. 2024. 15 of 34, 100 yards, 3 interceptions. Let's welcome in Jake Burns, BrownsFilmBreakdown.com. Jake, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, getting a full week to prep. I suppose he had that against the Ravens, although it wasn't really a full week. I get why you're doing it, where the season is. When you've looked at DTR, what have you seen in analyzing what he does?
Dorian is there's not, I would say there's not a ton to love based on what we've seen so far. So when I see him kind of perform, there's obviously an athletic guy there, so they are going to try to lean into what they've really honestly been leaning into, which is trying to get the quarterback a little more involved in the run game. They did that in Pittsburgh, and what I mean by that is giving him a chance to read backside end concepts, you know, off of whatever run design you have, and then if you get a crashing player, he can pull it. So that does help a little bit with box count stuff. So he can do that. And, you know, under Chip Kelly in college, he did live in an RPO world at times. So Ken Dorsey has been very active in that market as well. The Browns shotgun stuff is a real enigma, their approach to it since Ken Dorsey has taken over. They can't run from under center. All they can do is sell pass and try to drop back out of under center looks. For some reason, they don't have any gun play action concept to push the football downfield the way they did when Kevin was calling the offense. So I don't feel overly optimistic about Dorian here. I mean, there's times where I think let me put it this way, he's not afraid to try to throw, like a lot of these quarterbacks who are in these backup scenarios or fighting for an NFL life are, you know, very much they play a guarded brand of football. Taking care of it at all levels is the most important part of it is not turning the football over and trying to take whatever easy throw a concept can devise and kind of not necessarily calling it a check down approach, but just these guys don't want to make the crucial mistake and try to live in a management world at the position. Well, he's never really been able to do that. He likes to try to push the football downfield at the detriment of, I think the game has been moving too fast for him at times in his rookie year. Mistakes get made. I don't think he is quite adept at processing coverage locations. And I mean, sometimes missing a player out there that he doesn't see or anticipatorily not delivering the football to the location that it needs to be based on a player's drop or post-snap movement. So am I optimistic? No, about him like taking 3 games here and doing well. I do think they can devise something that they have been comfortable in offensively. Not that it's been bearing a ton of fruit, but at least comfortability in what their offense can be for him. So I'm interested to see if he can just sort of reverse the turnover stuff that has been plaguing him to an extent here and give a little bit more consistency to what he does well. But I'm not optimistic about it. But like you said, David, it makes sense. You know, I think in a world where, and we've seen it so far this year, where Jameis gets really hot in a game, you can win that game. And the Browns don't need to win any of these last 3 games. I know that's something people don't want to hear, but you're sitting there in March and you have the 8th pick. You know what you don't care about is that random Dolphins game that they won in week 17 that cost them the 4th pick. And now you have to take a lesser player. So like, these games don't matter at the end of the year. The decisions are going to be made that are already going to be made. They're not changing the course of a player or coach or front office return based on these 3 football games. So to me, Dorian is fine to evaluate if there's a future for him as a role-playing backup quarterback for you. I don't think you come out of these 3 games with the idea of like he's going to start for us next year. He could be this opportunity. I mean, that would be a wildly great outcome. But it's hard to envision that when the perception of these games is we're not trying to win them necessarily from the top level. I always say tanking happens above the player level.
Yep.
The player's trying to win. The decisions to tank are made in who's playing, why they're playing, and opportunities to get on the field. So that to me is always noteworthy. And I think that this move indicates that to an extent. So that's where I'm at with it. I just tell folks to keep their hopes low for what you get from Dorian in these games.